Hi guys, welcome to TS Gear. Recently I posted a video about a beginning or a starter's knife sharpening kit. And that kit featured the Spyderco Sharpmaker here. What I want to do in this video is I want to kind of get a little more in depth on the Sharpmaker and kind of show how you use it and just talk a little bit more about it. The thing that I kind of skimmed over is the fact that the Sharpmaker is in its own right a compact sharpening kit itself. When I said the kit that I had put together was a kind of a beginner's kit, most of that was based on the Spyderco Sharpmaker being so easy to use, especially for beginners. You don't have to worry about keeping that 20-degree angle as you are working across like a flat stone, which for a beginner is difficult. And to be honest, I'm still not great at it. I'm getting better, and I can get a decent edge on some whetstones. But this is kind of a go-to system. I'm going to go real quick here and tell you kind of some of the things that you can sharpen with this, because this thing will do just about anything and everything that you want to do. Again, by beginner's kit, I don't mean that it's not capable of any particular task, because it certainly is. There may be other tools that are better for that task, but the Sharpmaker can do just about everything. So you can sharpen scissors, you can sharpen recurve blades. I've got an example here that I'll show you once I reposition the camera. Karambits or hawkbills, got one here to show you. You can do serrated. I didn't get that out because to be honest, I'm not real comfortable sharpening serrated blades with the Sharpmaker. So bear with me for a second. I'm going to reposition the camera and we'll continue on. So when I unpack the Sharpmaker here, get this out of the way. As I unpack this, you're going to notice that there is two sets of rods that come with the kit itself. You have these fine rods. They're actually like a man-made sapphire. And you have these ceramic rods here that are a medium. So the mediums are about a 600 grit, and the fines are about a 1200 grit. The other thing that comes with the Sharpmaker are these brass rods here, and these are safety rods, and I'll show you how to use those in a minute. Very important though. The Sharpmaker, as you can see, has, if I can get the light to see that, a 30-degree back bevel side, and over here a 40-degree edge side, and both of those can be used to sharpen an edge. Spyderco recommends a back bevel, a 30-degree back bevel, and a 40-degree edge, because a 40-degree edge is kind of a good compromise of strength and slicing capability, cutting capability. 30-degree edge is gonna actually cut better, but it's not going to be as strong, so the integrity of the edge is going to be lost much faster, especially with hard use. So maybe for a kitchen knife you might want to put a 30-degree edge on it, because you're going to be slicing soft items, fruits, vegetables, meat, things like that. Whereas a bushcrafting or a camp knife, you're definitely going to want to have at least a 40-degree edge. Sometimes an even steeper edge is necessary. So the way that Spyderco recommends you use this is, and I'm just going to use the 40-degree edge because that's the side, because that's mostly what I use 90% of the time. You definitely, here's where the safety rods come into play. You set them up like that, and the rods go in like this as I reach around the camera here. So here's where the importance of these brass rods comes in. You're really going to grip the thing here, and as you're using a knife on this thing, you're coming down it this way, and when you do that, if you get going real fast and get kind of complacent, you can come down like this, and these are soft, so they're going to actually catch the edge. They're going to be much softer than the steel, so it's going to protect your hand. Beginners are not as likely to actually cut themselves. It's the experienced people that get complacent. Beginners are usually very focused what they're doing, whereas somebody that's been doing it a while might be watching TV as they do it and come down and cut themselves. Let me move this just a little bit here. That's a little better. So definitely want to use these. So you're going to notice on these rods, the reason for the name Triangle Sharpmaker is the rods are triangle. So you have basically two surfaces to work with as you're sharpening. You have this flat surface here, and you also have this edge here. So what that gives you, and what Spyderco says, is that the edge here is a little more aggressive. So you get a little more pressure over a finer point. So you're going to take off material faster. I find the edge loads up very quick, so I don't use it for normally sharpening all the time. When I use the edge, I use it for things like when I'm getting up real close to the ricasso. It's very difficult to get that close on the flat plane of the rod. So I will get really close right up on it, if I can do this, just like this with the edge of the rod. So that makes it much easier. The other thing you would use the edge for would be for like a recurve blade. You're not going to be able to get the flats up into these tight recurves here. So this edge tracks along the recurve much easier. Also for hawkbill styles, obviously you're going to have to use the edge because, again, just like a recurve, you can't get in there. With a hawkbill, you're going to want, well, especially this one, because of such a steep angle with the handle and the blade, you're going to want to move this towards the edge so that you can drop the handle off the edge of the table as you kind of come around and sharpen. I don't sharpen this ever, actually, because, to be honest, I've never used it. It's kind of only got one purpose. So the way I do this is most of the time after I've used the edge to get near the ricasso, I will typically turn to the flats. And when I do the flats, I do it a little differently. And I learned this actually from J Davis 882's channel. I'll go from top to bottom, just like normal. And instead of going back and forth just like this, I will actually go from top to bottom, bottom to top, back and forth until I feel a burr develop on the opposite side. Once I feel that burr all the way from tip to the ricasso, then I'll go to the other side and I'll remove that burr and I'll start to develop a burr on the opposite side. After I get a burr going on both sides, I'll go back and forth a little bit, equally on both sides, and then I might finish just with a tip first kind of thing to just kind of remove any extra burr. Then I would switch to the next finer stone. That works much faster in my opinion, and obviously Jay Davis's opinion, because he's the master of sharp. I can tell you, I'm nowhere near as good as he is. The other thing, so these two stones work very well. So I would go from the medium to the fine, and then because I have them, and just kind of makes the kit that much better. You can also go then to an ultrafine set. So the ultrafines are about a 2000 grit. So we have 600 grit, 1200 grit, and 2000. And that'll do just about any knife as long as it's not really damaged. If you have a damaged blade, or if you just need to remove a lot of metal to maybe reset the bevel, or maybe fix a chip or something like that, I recommend going with these diamond rods. These are a 220 grit, so very coarse grit, and they remove material very fast. As with all of these rods, they tend to load up very quickly, so you almost have to wash them pretty thoroughly between each knife. You can go from, like if you're working on this edge and it loads up, you can turn it so you have 3 edges, and then you have 2 flats to work with, because this one is a grooved one for fish hooks and other tools. So you can do that as well. The other thing that this does do that I've never used it for is you can do scissors. You put it in the side here actually. And so this is the right angle for most scissors. I think it's, I want to say it's like 12 degrees, but I could be wrong. I'll annotate it if it's different. I don't have a pair of scissors here with me. It probably should have been prepared, but you just kind of run the scissors along this plane here, just again straight up and down. Scissors, you'd only do one side, and then you might flip it over and go completely flat against the other side, the side that contacts the other blade. That's kind of a brief overview of how the Sharpmaker works. Again, as I said, you can do just about anything. Another challenge with this system is going to be some of your longer blades. Not impossible, you can definitely do it, but because of the speed at which these load up, you know, it's going to be difficult. And then you only have a certain distance as you're drawing through, so you're going to find yourself pulling it through much faster as you drop down. You know, can be done. I've done about an 8-inch blade. No problem. Anything more than that, even an 8-inch blade is kind of stretching it, but anything more than that, you may want to consider another option. Maybe there's my new toy, a 1x30 belt sander would work great. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. It's been brief, but I'm going to do a better demonstration of this later. We'll do some cut tests. I'll go from a dull knife to a very sharp knife using nothing but the Sharpmaker and probably a strop. Really, there's no reason not to utilize a strop. They're really easy to make. I'm actually going to reload this one. It's not loaded very well. So we will do that some point very soon. If you like the videos, please subscribe and maybe give any comments. Definitely always looking for feedback, ways to grow, ways to improve. If I missed something and you have any questions, feel free to definitely put those in. I may do a video or just simply answer the comments. So thank you very much for watching and have a great day.